Hey everyone, welcome back. This is the Once and Future King here once again. And so the fall season of anime in 2021 is almost here, and I'm super excited like always. And so I wanted to make this video talking about all the anime that I have been watching. Basically just my impressions on them so far. Of course, many of them are only like 1 to 3 episodes in right now, but I just wanted to give you some first impressions here and tell you which ones I think are worth watching. The only ones I'm going to be talking about in this video mainly are just ones that I think are really good that you need to watch. I've thrown a few others in here just so I can get this video longer and give you a brief overview of what I think is going on this season. Alright, the ones that I'm absolutely loving are must-watches. I'll talk about at the end of the video. But first I want to talk about a few others I think are a little interesting and that you should maybe give a shot. So the first one I want to talk about here is Muteking the Dancing Hero. Now this is an anime that I believe it's a reboot or something of an older anime from like the 90s or 80s or something like that, which I've never heard of before, never seen. But this one is pretty alright so far. It has a really unique aesthetic going for it. In fact, some scenes, especially when the dancing hero is in combat, kind of remind me of the PS2 games Beautiful Joe, if you've ever played those or seen any cutscenes from them. They were like really stylistic and interesting looking games. I'm not sure if they're any fun or not because I haven't played them, but they're really interesting looking games. And a lot of scenes in this anime, especially when the dancing hero is in combat, remind me a lot of that. So it seems to me that there's been clear inspiration taken there, but I could be wrong. Other than that, it's just a lot of fun, really funny. Like the main male character is freaking adorable, and I feel like where the majority of the humor comes from in this series. Overall, though, I don't think it's amazing so far, but I've definitely been enjoying it, though. And the second one is Platinum End. Now, the main reason I want to check this one out is actually because it's by the same mangaka duo that created Death Note, which is undoubtedly one of the most famous anime of all time. Okay, and this manga actually came out in 2015. But it's just now 6 years later getting adapted. Like, Komi fans think they've been waiting long for an anime adaptation of their favorite manga. Now, at the time of this recording, only 1 episode has been released, so I can't really say much on it so far. But what I can say is that it is very interesting. It's all about this guy who was basically contemplating suicide. He had a very happy childhood when he was really young, but recently in his life he's been very, very depressed, and so he tries to jump off a building and commit suicide, but he's saved by an angel who who basically enlists him in this competition against other people to see who can become God. So it has a very unique, very interesting premise, and you can also tell these mangakas seem to be obsessed with God in some way in their stories, because Death Note was all about a teenage boy discovering the Death Note and trying to use it to become God, to clean up the world. And this series is all about a bunch of people competing to become God. Alright, but like I said before, there's not a whole lot I can say about it yet, because there is only 1 episode out at the time of this recording. By the time you see this video, there'll probably be 2. But at the time of this recording, there's only 1. Alright? But I do really like the premise, and the main character seems interesting. I do hope he gets more interesting later on, though. Like I thought it was a good introduction to him, but I do hope he gets more interesting and more layered later on. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about it for right now. Next we have Saihate no Paladin. So this is an anime that also only has 1 episode out at the time of this recording. Of course it's another isekai anime, but it does have a unique twist on the isekai genre. In this case, the main character was reincarnated, but in this new world, there's no humans at all. In fact, his entire life in this new world, he's only ever seen 3 other living people, or 3 other living creatures. Like a skeleton warrior. There's a who serves as his combat trainer. There's a ghost who serves as his teacher in terms of academics. And then there's this like mummy, I think, woman who serves as his caregiver, and she treats his wounds, she makes his meals and stuff like that. She gives him emotional comfort, I imagine, and stuff like that. So those are the only 3 people. Only 3 other living creatures that he's met his entire life. So already for me that built intrigue. Because I want to know more about this world instantaneously. I want to know who these three are. I want to know why he's never met any other humans. Do other humans exist? If so, where are they? If not, why? I want to know all that stuff. And this first episode did a really good job of making me want to know this stuff. The next one we have is Blue Period. Now this is a cool one. First of all, the first two episodes were released both at once, I think. So this is an episode about art and about artists and this high school boy who seemingly had no real passion beforehand, discovering a passion for art. In his case, like painting and drawing and stuff. So I really, really love the characters in this series. They're really fascinating. And I like the premise, and I like the direction it's going, that it seems to be going. Like, this series has 3 episodes out currently, okay? So it's probably the most along that any of these series has been. The best part of the series is definitely the main character. I don't know what it is to say, just I relate to him a lot. I definitely relate to discovering a love for a certain type of art. For me, it's writing stories, but for him, it's painting and drawing. Right? But I know that feeling of like being lost, not knowing what to do with your life, and then discovering this incredible passion. And that's the main reason why I'm continuing with this series. This also seems to be one of the most hyped up anime of this current season as well, and so far, I definitely think it's worth the hype. Okay. Next up we have Mushoku Tensei, Season 2. So I love Mushoku Tensei. I love everything about Mushoku Tensei. Everything. Including the main character. I think people are way too... Okay, let's talk about him for a second. I think people are way too needlessly hard on Rudius. Okay? Like, he's definitely extremely flawed. But I also feel like he's kind of a tragic character, too. Okay? It's like, because think about it for a second. Rudius, before he died, was a grown man with urges who got transported, who died and then got transported into an alternate world, or reincarnated in an alternate world as a baby. And he had to grow up naturally again. But he still has all of his memories from his previous life. And he still has all of his urges from his previous life. That has to be one of the worst hells imaginable. Okay? I'd be a piece of shit too if I was in that situation. I'd want to fuck anything that moves if I was in that situation too, okay? If I'm being completely honest here. So I think people need to show more empathy towards his situation. Plus, I mean, he's just funnier than hell. Like 99% of the comedy in this series comes from him, I feel like. And I relate to him a little bit at least, because I'm also a filthy, disgusting degenerate. And I'm pretty sure most of the people that are going to be watching this video are going to be the exact same way. So I don't want to hear any fucking shit in the comments, okay? Outside of that, though, I really love this series. And so far, there's only 2 episodes of Season 2 out right now. But so far, it seems to be going along swimmingly. It reminds me exactly of the first season. It's basically as if the first season didn't end. Which, I'm pretty sure that's kind of the idea. Because the first season aired last winter, 2021. And so they basically, instead of taking 1 season break, they basically just took 2 season breaks, and there's Season 2 again. But I'm pretty sure that was what they were planning from the beginning. So you could really say they were intending that the series feels as if it never even ended. And that's just continuing on. And it definitely does feel that way to me. And I couldn't be happier that the series is continuing. It's no lie, one of my favorite anime of the year. So, like, maybe top 5? I don't know. There's a lot of great anime this year. But it's definitely top 10 material at least. Next up here we have Takt OP Adventure. Next up here we have Takt OP Destiny. So the main reason I decided to check this anime out is because it's a collaboration between 2 giants in the industry right now. Studio Mappa and Studio Madhouse. And, I mean, it looks like an anime that was produced by Studio Mappa and Studio Madhouse. There's no doubt about that. As for the actual plot and characters, I really enjoyed it so far. It took kind of a cliche and inherently stupid premise and did something unique with it. That premise being that music is banned, which you see in a lot of stories. But honestly, this is kind of unique because music is the only thing that can stop the creatures that infest this world. So when they attacked, they banned all music. That makes a lot more sense for music to be banned because it's the only thing that can stop them. And of course, the mission of the characters in the series is to defeat those creatures, so that music can be restored to the world. Honestly, I couldn't imagine a world without music myself. I was instantly invested in the plot and the characters' struggle. But the characters themselves are also interesting, especially in Season 2. I feel like Season 2 added quite a bit to the characterization part. Or Episode 2, I mean. Added quite a bit in the characterization department. And yeah, I can't wait to see where this goes from here. My favorite part of the series so far was a combination of two scenes. Three scenes. The first one was a scene where the main male MC is in this private room of his, playing his piano. And then the female MC comes in there to basically clean the room. And the conversation they have is pretty interesting. Okay, where she wants him to play his piano out in public, and he doesn't want to because he doesn't think anybody will care as much about his music, but she disagrees. And this episode makes it pretty clear that the two of them have a thing for each other as well. Then there's a scene later with male MC and another female character where they basically have the same discussion. Right, both of them are trying to convince him to play his piano for other people. And then the scene where he actually does decide to play his piano for other people. And of course the episode ends with them being attacked. The one problem I had was that I kind of saw the attack coming. Because it's these creatures hate music. It's their one weakness. So why would they play music in public? Maybe there's something I missed, but that seemed like a really dumb move. Alright, obviously the monsters were going to attack them. It's just common sense. That's because music is their weakness. Alright, but it didn't ruin it for me, alright? And episode 2 ended on a cliffhanger that really makes me want episode 3 desperately right now. Next up, we have Banished from the Hero's Party. So this is probably the one I enjoyed the least out of all of them I'm going to be talking about in this video. And that by no means that it's bad or anything. If it was, then I wouldn't be talking about it. It's probably one of them that I've heard the most hype for, surprisingly enough. Even though I thought it was just okay. It does have a kind of an interesting premise, though. It's about the male MC who is actually not very strong compared to other heroes or other adventurers and whatnot. So he was actually banished from the party, and he's living a quiet life in the countryside. So far, only actually 2 episodes are out, but I haven't watched episode 2 yet. But based on episode 1, though, it's hard to tell exactly what's going to happen. If it's just going to be a slice of life Yashike throughout the entirety of it, or if something is going to happen to get him back into action. All we really know about the party itself is that his sister is the leader of the party, and one of the other members took him into private and requested that he just quit because they knew that his sister was never going to kick him out. I guess she's just too nice of a person. And so they made up a story that he died somewhere, which seems kind of cruel. Also makes me wonder if his sister's ever going to find out the truth. So I can't wait to watch more of it, though. Even though I thought it was just kind of okay, I think there's the potential here for it to become much greater. Next up is Pride of Orange. So this is another one of the cute girls doing cute things anime you see all the time, and that we can always use another one of. In this case, it's cute girls doing ice hockey. Because why the hell not? Teenage girls allowed to play professional ice hockey. Why the hell not? It's anime. So, and there's not much to say about this one. I wanted to give it a shout out because I did really enjoy the first episode, but there's really not much to say about it. It's pretty much just your average cute girls doing cute things anime, and swap out any activity that you could possibly want. In this case, it's ice hockey. And in case you're wondering, yes, it is very, very, very adorable, which is really the one and only requirement of this type of series anyways. Next up, we have Sakugan. So this is also an interesting one, but at the same time, it's difficult for me to know exactly what to make of it. It seems like it's trying to tell a deep story, but it's the type where I'll need more episodes to come out to really nail down exactly how I feel about it. But I like the first impression of it. Basically, the gist of it is that, this little girl wants to be like a fighter or something. I forget what they called it in the episode, but some kind of like fighter or something. All right, she wants to explore the world basically, and her father doesn't want her to. She's too worried about, or he's too worried about her safety. Okay, and at the end of the episode, her best friend and her dad ends up dying. And by the end of the episode, her father comes around and lets her go out, but he's not letting her go alone. He's going with her, and that's basically where the episode ends. And it's really difficult for me to know what to make of it, because like the entire episode is her wanting to explore the world and him not wanting her to, but eventually coming around but deciding to go with her. We don't really get to see much about this world itself. It seems like it's going to be an adventure anime, and in adventure anime, one of the most important things, if not the most important thing, is the world interesting? And so far, we just don't know much about the world that she wants to explore, I don't feel like. But it intrigued me enough to continue. I'm definitely going to be checking out more episodes of this one. Have to say about it. Next here we have Taishou Maiden Fairytale. This is one of the 4 big anime this season that banks on the adorableness of the characters. And yeah, it's a romance anime, but this one is clearly banking on the escapism for guys, which there's nothing wrong with. I love adorable escapism like this. It's about the male MC who was part of this, was like the heir of this wealthy conglomerate, I think. But then when he was in a car accident, he lost his mother, and he hurt one of his hands, which apparently somehow made him useless to the family. I don't think that was properly explained, but apparently it did. But like plot holes like that would normally bother me, but considering this series' primary purpose is being wholesome, it doesn't really bother me. Anyways, he was banished from the family. He was sent away to live on his own. However, with one final act of kindness, I guess, his dick of a fuck, purchased a wife for him. Now, that sounds like it wouldn't be very wholesome, but this looks like it will be, because she is such an angel. And while she was scared at first, she stated that she's starting to warm up to him. And he's warming up to her as well. And the main purpose of this series is going to be the wholesomeness. And I love me some wholesome anime and manga. I want more wholesome anime and manga. In fact, I have some videos coming down the pipeline that are going to be me talking about wholesome anime and manga. I love this shit. Next up is Demon Slayer Mugen Train Arc. So I didn't watch the Demon Slayer movie. I love Demon Slayer, but I did not watch the movie. So I'm glad that in the Demon Slayer sequel, the first thing they're doing is readapt, which is odd, because the movie was probably around an hour and a half long. That's how long anime movies usually are, 99.99% of the time. So my guess is that they're going to greatly elaborate on the plot of the movie, which is always a nice. So not much to say here though. Like, if you haven't seen Demon Slayer, then why the hell would you be watching this? If you did like Demon Slayer, it's more of the same. So if you like Demon Slayer, you're probably gonna like this. If you didn't watch Demon Slayer, then why the hell would you be watching this in those two? So not really anything more to say other than that. It's more Demon Slayer, and I fucking love the first season of Demon Slayer. It's one of my favorite anime of all time, undoubtedly. Okay, next one we have here. My senpai is annoying. I was apprehensive going into this for a couple of... One, it seemed very similar to shows like Please Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, Uzaki-chan Just Wants to Hang Out, Teasing Master Takagi-san. Shows like that I'm always very skeptical on. Nagatoro, I actually do have a video coming down the pipeline, so I don't want to say much about that. Needless to say, my feelings on that are very mixed. I have not seen or read Uzaki or Takagi yet, but I'm also very skeptical about those. Basically, I'm very skeptical when it comes to one-sided, teasing. And I would be even more skeptical because these are grown adults. These aren't children. Like, with children, maybe you could say that it's understandable that it's... But I'm even more skeptical when it comes to adults. However, when I watched the trailer, which I did a reaction video for on this channel, all my apprehension was immediately thrown out the window. That was one of the most wholesome anime trailers I've ever seen in my entire life. And the first episode of the anime lived up to that wholesomeness 100%. That was an amazing first episode. I absolutely fucking loved it. First of all, I love the male MC. He does do stuff that seems like makes the female MC uncomfortable. But there's a couple of major things that makes it okay. One, she doesn't seem too uncomfortable. Maybe a little, but not like, it doesn't go overboard with how uncomfortable she is. And number two is it's never intentional. Like, you can tell he's not trying to be malicious. He's not trying to make her feel that way. He just seems ignorant to how his actions can make her feel. And I'm sure part of his character arc will be like realizing that. And also, like, the female MC is so freaking good. I wanted to see these two get together, honestly based on the trailer. But even if I didn't watch that, but like, it would still be before episode 1 ended. That's how adorable she is. That's how funny and just flat out likable he is. How like cute that they are together, and how much I think that their dynamic already works before episode 1 even ended. That's damn impressive. Other than that, it doesn't seem to be like a super deep story, but it's definitely fun. It's a lot of fun. Honestly, I don't know if I said it in the reaction video or not, but how can she not like that man's laugh? It's filled with nothing but pure joy and happiness. Every time he laughs, I want to laugh. But anyways, obviously she's going to warm up to him. Honestly, it kind of seems like that's already started at least a little bit in episode 1. But yeah, and now I do wonder how if they're meant to end up together in the end. I do wonder how this is going to happen, because they are part of the same company. So I imagine one of them would have to quit their job and find a different job. Either way, I really love this. And finally, we have saved the best for last. Komi Can't Communicate. Our goddess finally descends upon us and graces us with her presence. This is anime of the season, anime of the year, and only one episode is out so far. Yeah, I could probably just end the video right there. I don't think a single person watching this video would disagree. Even if it got 1 million views, which it won't, but even if it did, I don't think anyone watching this video would disagree that Komi is always number 1. Look, guys, I only started reading this manga like a month or 2 ago, and I finally caught up with it before it started airing. I can't even imagine how manga readers who have been reading for the past 5 fucking years feel. Because this manga has been serialized since 2016 and still no anime adaptation. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I heard a rumor that there was apparently like a producer or a director or someone in the anime community who turned down the idea of a Komi anime because he didn't think anyone would want it. I assume he was promptly beaten to within an inch of his life after that. Especially, and then again now, since it's out and it's a huge success. So yeah, I can't imagine how people who've been reading the manga for 5 years have felt waiting this long to get it. And now they finally have it, and it's amazing. As a manga reader, I can attest to the fact that it's amazing. It was one of the best first episodes in anime I have ever seen. That is not hyperbole. Like, Netflix knocked it out of the park. Like, the only big downside is actually that it's from Netflix. Because it seems to be still locked in Netflix jail. I watched it like a day after it came out. I watched it on YouTube. Because it was not on fucking Netflix. So fuck Netflix. Like, I heard that it was supposed to be released from Netflix jail early. Apparently that was bullshit. So fuck them. If they're not gonna release it, I'm still gonna watch it. Okay, I fucking guarantee that. Anyways, okay. So for those of you who don't know the premise, it's all about a girl named Shoko Komi, who's extremely beautiful and whatnot, but she's admired by the entire school. Okay, all of the girls want to be her friend, and all of the boys want to be with her, basically. However, she has this problem known as communication disorder, which prevents her from being able to communicate with others. Whenever someone tries to talk with her, she gets either extremely terrified or she just gets extremely stone-faced, which the latter there makes people think she's super serious and mean and stuck up. In spite of that, they still love her, though. But she's really not like that at all. She's a fucking angel. But the fact that she can't communicate with people prevents her from being able to make friends, which is something that she wants more than anything, okay? However, one day she meets the male MC, Tadano, and throughout some humorous circumstances, he finds out about her problem. And he agrees to help her make 100 friends before she graduates from high school. And he subsequently becomes her first friend. And this is such a wholesome story. I don't know how much this season 1 is going to be adapting. I imagine it will only be like 12 episodes or something. That's usually the length that rom-coms are per season. And if that's the case, then they're only going to adapt. That could probably be considered maybe a prologue to this series, because it has over 300 chapters, and I don't think it's gonna be coming to an end anytime soon.